Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sit Down with Suzanne. My last couple of episodes, I sat down with a few phenomenal guests and I was very excited. But this episode, I'm sitting by myself recording this podcast. But before we jump right in, let's go on with our jingle. Bum, 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 positively Susan, positively Susan, ba ba bum 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 ba bum ba da da dum, ba 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 ba, positively Suzanne. All right. For those of you who have been with me from the get go, thank you so much for being loyal and being faithful. And for those of you listening for the first time, I hope you give us a chance, listen, subscribe, follow. And the jingle is for Positively Suzanne, which is my brand. So you can follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as Positively Suzanne. And also, I have a website, www.positivelysuzanne.com. So, as I mentioned before the jingle, I have sat down with a few different ladies while under quarantine. So it was a remote interview. So they were sitting at their place and I was sitting in my place, and we did a couple of interviews. It was really great. I have also a couple other guests lined up for upcoming interviews, but I just wanted to jump on and chat with you all. I always say that I'm going to meet you guys where I am at, and the tenets and my goal is to inspire, to motivate, and to empower. And I also want to ensure that any information that I give to you, it's positive. Whether it's something bad, let's find the positive, because you got to have hope, and that's just me, and that's how I feel. So thank you for sticking with me through this podcast thing. And there's so many different options available to you. So the fact that you chose to listen to me, I'm gonna give you a shout out. I love that. So thank you. Before I was doing all the guests, I used to do a question before the show, and I thought let's throw that in tonight. I've gotten a couple of questions that I was able to answer one on one, but I wanted to ask this question, and this question was, how has my life been impacted by COVID-19? Well, it's been impacted tremendously. I think, like everyone else, our jobs were closed down, and if you're not considered an essential worker. So I've been at home for, the past 2 months. The kids have been at home with me. We're doing homeschooling. The husband still goes out to work and he's practicing safety precautions. And I'll talk next week about homeschooling with the kids, because I've seen the memes, and, memes crack me up. I'm always rolling. And when I find a funny one, I really don't like the offensive one. But when I find a funny one, I'm always cracking up. But, just being home for the past few months, not going out, grocery shopping online, which is something that I had done before because it saves me a lot of time. The only difference is now I get my groceries. I have to order it like a week in advance. Before I could order it, get it the same day, sometimes the next day. But, it has impacted me in that respect, that I've been out of work for about 2 months, but I'm very, very blessed when it comes to, an income. And the kids have been home with me, so getting that time with them has been really awesome. Honestly, we have our moments when they don't follow the routine, but it's, hey, this is a new thing, right? So we're just all learning. So it's been bittersweet, because I understand why we have to stay at home, and that part is sad. Because I love what I do. I love my job, but I also appreciate the fact that I have the luxury of, still being able to pay my mortgage and pay my bills and spend time with my family. So thank you for asking that. And I hope that my listeners, I hope that you guys are doing well, that if you're an essential worker, that you're being safe, and if you're not, if you were laid off, that you're getting paid by your job, and if you're not getting paid by a job, you're getting unemployment. So I really hope that y'all are being taken care of. So my episode today is actually going to be very short. Yeah, I said it. but we'll see as we go further along. But I wanted to talk about removing negative people from your life. And there is a reason why I'm talking about this. And I mentioned that, I am on social media, so I do a daily post. Well, I try to do daily. Sometimes it doesn't come out every day, but I try to do a post every day about, just different things and, motivational and inspirational quotes. And my quote tomorrow is going to be kind of along these lines, but how to remove negative people out of your life. And, it's an act of self-preservation. It's an act of self-care. And you should know that it's okay to remove negative people out of your life and still be okay with it, because if there's somebody that consistently brings you down, somebody that consistently makes you feel that you're not worth it or you're not good enough, like there's no reason to have them in your life. And, I know what folks are going to say. I'm a Christian, and they're going to be like, you're a Christian, you're a child of God. How are you saying that? And I think a lot of times people mistake Christianity for, you should allow everybody to do everything for you. And that's not my take on it. I think you should be kind. You should love God, and you should love others, and you should show kindness, and you should preach the gospel. And those are things that I do. But if there's somebody in my life that's consistently being negative and is going after me in a way that they're trying to hurt me, then I will love them, but I will love them from afar. If I'm in a position to help somebody, I will help somebody, but there are people that consistently take advantage of you. So, I've said it before on this broadcast. When you're in an airplane, they say to you that, you should use your oxygen mask first. And I always try to make sure that I'm okay mentally. I do help others. I don't have to solve all my problems, because I don't think you'll ever solve all your problems. And, you can still help people, but you have to take care of yourself mentally. And I found out that, from personal experience, a lot of times, like, negative people, they bring you down. So you are trying to move forward, you're trying to move on from something, and they reel you back in, and they try to get you to, do things that no longer aligns with who you are or who you're trying to be. And there's this post that I've seen, and I've seen it in many different variations from many different people, saying, do something that your future self will thank you for. Or, if the thing that you're doing doesn't align with where you're trying to go, don't do it. And that's just how I feel. I feel that if you're trying to be positive, and if you're trying to better yourself, and you're trying to go to a new path, and somebody is consistently negative and putting you down and telling you that, you're not going to make it, you're not worth it, or things like that, or just trying to draw you back into the things that you used to enjoy that are bad for you, then it's okay to cut them off. It's okay to pray for them. It's okay to say, hey, listen, I love you. Bless up. That's my Jamaican coming out. Bless up. I'm always pray for you. I'm always wish you the best, but like, I can't go down that path, because you know what lies down that path for you, and it doesn't align with where you're trying to go. So I have had the experience where I've had to, cut people off, because I felt that they just want to go in a negative round, and they were actually annoyed by me being positive. They just like, oh, like everything you say is positive, like, like la la la, the universe this. And I said, no, it's not la la la, but it's an actual concentrated, dedicated effort that I put into being positive consistently. Like, take for instance this coronavirus. We're out of work, churches are closed, workplaces are closed, all these things are closed. You're going outside, you're wearing masks and gloves and things like that. But I have to remain positive. I'm thinking to myself, yes, I am still employed. I still have a job. My family is safe. I'm still able to pay my bills. I'm still able to eat. I have a good place to rest my head. I have, heat and because listen, it's New England, it was cold. And now it's getting hot. So, I have AC that I can, get cool. So I am blessed beyond measure. So far be it from me to complain about something. And that's where I see the positive in things. And, no matter what, regardless of what's going on, I always try to seek the positive. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Find the positive in any situation. If there's people in your life that is consistently trying to get you to go to the negative, cut them off. Cut them off. I'm not saying stop being a good person. I'm not saying you should stop, caring about them. But all I'm saying to you is cut them off. Pray for them, bless them, help them if you can, but remove toxicity from your life. Just remove the toxin. It's called detoxifying, all of that. Because some people are negative and that's what they want. They don't want you to remain positive. One of the things that I've done too is, while I'm on social media, I don't engage with anybody who is deliberately trying to incite something negative. They'll share a post that they know is guaranteed to stir up emotions. And then they'll be going back and forth with others. I don't engage because I just don't think there is any benefits for that, because they don't want to see your point. They just want to read what you said and then they want to respond. So I really hope this is helping somebody. I'm a life coach, and I recently was speaking with someone, and it was saying them just let go. Even if you think they're talking about you, just let it go. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to prove who you are to them, because I think the people that know you knows who you are. And I had made a decision a very long time ago that, I'm just not going to defend myself against rumors. So, and I think I've mentioned it before, you can't change it. Like, you can't change people's minds sometimes when they're determined to believe something. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do God. I'm going to do me. That's all I'm saying. So they can go ahead and they could be negative, but I will consistently be positive. Regardless of what is trending, I'm going to be positive. And there's so many people that I don't agree with, people that I don't have the same values as belief system as them. And some of them I do respect, and some of them I'm just going to say, I pray for them, girl. I pray for them. But, and boy, I should say boy, although my podcast is primarily a female, I will say that the one or two guys that do listen to them, I'll give you a shout out and thank you for that. But listen, I'm not about the negativity, man. So if that's your spiel, that's not where I'm going. And I can disagree with somebody and still, not fight with them. I am all about love. I'm all about forgiveness. That's something that I've been working on, forgiving, letting go and move on. I just don't give them the opportunity to, do the same thing. But one of my shows I talk about just why forgiveness is important. And you just got to go all the way in when you forgive somebody and just let go of that, because that hurt and that anger ends up hurting you more than it does them, because there's some people who can hurt you and it doesn't faze them. Like, it doesn't alter their steps at all. And you're all over here hot and bothered and they're not even thinking about what they did to you. So I do try to not spend a lot of my time just focused on the hurt and the wrong that was done to me. So here is my encouragement to you. And if you follow me, this is something that I say often. Release negative people out of your life. Know your worth. Believe in yourself. Seek motivation wherever you can. And try to focus on the positive. Try to focus on the good things that are happening in your life. I'm not saying there won't be bad things, there will be bad things, but try to focus on the good things that are happening in your life and be grateful every day. And, walk away from the negative people. And if they do ask you, you can be honest with them and tell them, like, hey, like, where you are, that's not where I am. And it's either they meet you where you are or they don't. But it is an act of self-care. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's an act of self, restoration, because once you remove negative and toxin things out of your life, you'll be amazed at how much great things can come into your life. So let it go, girl. Let it go, let it go, let it go. So I did mention it's going to be a short episode. Just wanted to come on and, chat with you all and let you know that if you're struggling with letting go of negative people, it's okay. I think during this quarantine, we all had an opportunity to do some self-reflection and just really evaluate what's important. And if you're spending a lot of time and energy to come back from an encounter with somebody that's consistently negative, it ain't good for you. It's not good for you. So just go ahead, release, 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 release. I promise you, you'll feel a whole lot better. So until next time, this is your girl Suzanne signing off. I thank you for listening. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I keep forgetting to mention. Follow me on social media. Email me at Suzanne@positivelysuzanne.com. And I will talk to you soon.